श्रीमान सन्मान गार्ड आपका निरीक्षण के लिए हाजिर है। सन्मान गार्ड अगाल सन्मान गार्ड सर्जन।
Thank you very much. Thank you. थोड़ा मत
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गावे तब जय गाथा। जनगण मंगल नायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे। অগ্নিগড়ৰ স্থাপত্য কলিয়া ভূমৰাৰ এই স্থানতে বিৰাজিছে তেজপুৰ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়। তেজপুৰ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় ভূগৰ্ভৰ পৰা গণনাৰে কোনো বিচৰণ বিজ্ঞান জোৱাৰৰ অগ্ৰগতি আহুতিৰে কৰো ৰূপায়ণ। আয়ত্ত কৰি কলা কৌশল কৰি যাওঁ নিৰ্ণয়। মানৱতাবাদৰ ধ্যানৰ প্ৰতি তেজপুৰ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়। তেজপুৰ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়। প্রযুক্তি বিদ্যার জীবন যুজক বিজ্ঞান ভারতী তেজপুর বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়। তেজপুর বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়। তেজপুর বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়।
Namaskar. Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, Honorable Shri M. Hamid Ansari Ji, the Honorable Vice President of India, Honorable Shri Balwani Lal Purohit Ji, Governor of Assam. The guests of honor, including Honorable Shri Ranjit Datta, Honorable Minister, Department of Irrigation, Handloom, Textile and Sericulture, Government of Assam. Honorable Mr. Ram Prasad Sharma, Member of Parliament, Tezpur. Professor Mihir Kanti Chaudhary, Vice Chancellor, Tezpur University. Dr. H.K. Kaul, Director, Delhi. Dr. Biren Das, Registrar, Tezpur University. Dr. Mukesh Saikia, University Librarian and Organizing Secretary, NACLIN 2016. Special invitees, officials of local administration, the eminent LIS experts, invited keynote speakers from India and abroad, paper presenters, the conference delegates, the conveners and co-conveners, and members of various local organizing committees, officials of DELNET and Tezpur University, the officials of the main supporters and sponsors, exhibitors, students, print and electronic media officials, ladies and gentlemen. I, on behalf of the organizers, DELNET New Delhi and Tezpur University Tezpur, extends a very hearty welcome to all of you to the 19th National Convention on Knowledge, Library and Information Networking, NACLIN 2016, being organized on the theme Smart Libraries and Inspired Librarians, Managing New Technologies, Digital Content and Services from October 26 to 28, 2016. It is indeed a moment of great honor and privilege for us to have the most gracious presence of the most respected Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Hamid Ansari Ji, the chief guest of today's inaugural function, who has very kindly acceded to our request to inaugurate the 19th National Convention on Knowledge, Library and Information Networking, NACLIN 2016. We are also grateful to the other dignitaries, including Honorable Shri Banwarilal Purohit Ji, Honorable Shri Ranjit Datta, and Honorable Mr. Ram Prasad Sharma. Light is a symbol of auspiciousness, prosperity, and abundance. Light symbolizes knowledge. Let our paths remain enlightened always. At the very outset, I would like to most humbly request the Honorable Chief Guest, Shri M. Hamid Ansari Ji, to kindly inaugurate the 19th National Convention on Knowledge, Library and Information Networking, NACLIN 2016, by lighting the lamp. May I have the pleasure of requesting you, sir, and I also request the other dignitaries on the dais to kindly join the Honorable Chief Guest. We are much obliged to have the presence of the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Hamid Ansari Ji, here with us today. May I request Dr. H.K. Kaul, Director DELNET, to kindly present a shot to the Honorable Chief Guest as a token of our esteemed request for the Honorable Shri Hamid Ansari Ji. Thank you so very much, sir, indeed, for your very gracious presence with us here today. I would now like to request Professor Mihir Kanti Chaudhary, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Tezpur University Tezpur, to kindly deliver the welcome address. Professor Chaudhary is the Vice Chancellor of Tezpur University since May 2007, and under his dynamic leadership and vision, the university has earned the recognition of being the top 5th university in India by MHRD NLS ranking, and also listed among the top 800 times higher education world university rankings, which was done in September 2016. May I deliver the welcome address.
Most distinguished and most respected dignitaries on the dais, my dear participants, students of this university, invited guests, members of faculty of the university, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. The National Convention on Knowledge, Library, Information Networking, abbreviated as NACLIN, with its 19th edition, is now being held on our campus. I am extremely happy to announce that this is, to the best of my knowledge, for the first time that such an event is being organized in the Northeast and in Assam. This will make the history clear, for which I must very profoundly thank the DELNET organizing authorities, including Professor Kaul and Dr. Sangeeta Kaul and other colleagues of DELNET. We are actually the co-host, but the principal stake goes to DELNET. I must not mince words. Every NACLIN, like say NACLIN 2015, 2014, 2013 and so on, forth, has a definite theme. And as it has been saying, that the theme for this year is something that is a metamorphosis from so-called classical library science and technology to the state-of-the-art one, what is then going to be known as smart libraries. To handle smart libraries, it is imperative that the librarians should be equally smart, the delivery service should be so smart as well. Also the planners, like my humble being, those who support or plan the library. And above all, the users. And that is, to my understanding, is all that going to be discussed and put in place as part of the training over the next 3 days beginning today. So this, the inauguration function on which we are all now, it is my extreme privilege to extend hearty welcome on behalf of the organizing committee, on behalf of the university, on my own behalf, to our most beloved Vice President of India, Sri Amit Ansari Ji, who will be the chief guest from now until the function is over. Our own Chancellor, the Governor of Assam, Sri Banwarilal Purohit Ji, who has just made his maiden visit onto our campus, and I'm sure we'll have many more occasions, will be presiding. Most welcome to you, sir. Our distinguished and honored guests like the Minister, Mr. M. K. Datta, our own parliamentarian, Sri R.P. Sharma, the MLA, Sri Vrindavan Goswami. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all with a request, particularly to the participants, that take the academics of library business at home with all sincerity, and then only our effort will be successful. Logistically, should you need any support from our side, feel free to bother us. We are there around you. I welcome you all again and thank the organizing committee to give me this task to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to request Dr. H.K. Kaul, Founding Director DELNET, to kindly deliver the introductory address. Dr. Kaul is a well-known expert in the field of library and information science and synonym to library networking in India, who had established DELNET in 1992, the resource sharing library network, which connects now more than 5,600 libraries all across India and 9 other countries. He has a vast experience of more than 50 years in the field of library and information science. He has been a member of various high-powered committees of Government of India, including the National Mission on Libraries, Indian National Commission for UNESCO, and National Library of India. He has authored and edited 60 books. May I request you, sir, to kindly deliver the introductory address.
Honorable Shri M. Hamid Ansari Sahab, the Vice President of India,
Honorable Shri Banwarilal Purohitji, Governor of Assam, Honorable Sri Ram Prasad Sarma, Member of Parliament, Tezpur, Sri Ranjit Dattaji, Minister for Irrigation, Handloom and Textiles, Professor Bihir Kanti Chaudhary, Dr. Sangeeta Paul, Network Manager, Delnet, dignitaries, government officials and delegates. I would like to express grateful thanks to Honorable Sri M. Hamid Ansari Sahab, the Vice President of India, who so kindly gave his consent to inaugurate NACLIN this year at Tezpur University. He is a great visionary and an avid user of libraries. He appreciates the importance of libraries and good reading materials for students, teachers, researchers, and the public. In spite of the pressing demands on his time, he, in order to encourage library professionals who are here and who are not here, he decided to come from Delhi, and he has just reached, and after this function, he is returning back to Delhi. I would like to really request you to give a big hand to the Honorable Vice President of India for really taking so much interest in the libraries and library professionals. I remain indebted to His Excellency for his kindness. I'm also grateful to the Excellencies on the dais, Honorable Sri Banwarilal Purohit, Honorable Sri Ram Prasad Sarmaji, Honorable Sri Ranjit Datta, Professor Mihir Kant Chaudhary, for kindly agreeing to grace the inaugural function. I may like to bring to your kind attention that Delnet was established in 1992 to promote resource sharing by collecting, storing and disseminating information, and by offering related services and software. The objective was to facilitate access to relevant published resources, including journals and other materials at a low cost, right back in the 1980s. The demand to subscribe to all important journals was not possible for libraries in the 1980s, and it is now not possible at this stage also. Delnet serves more than 5,600 libraries in all states in India and 8 other countries, with about 2 crore 50 lakh resources comprising of e-books, e-journals, union catalogs of books, journals and other documents, besides free software to libraries, reference services that we provide, and other technical support that we give to libraries. We find that reading habits are constantly being affected, and students, scholars, teachers, and the public are finding it difficult to select the best content out of a plethora of resources that are now becoming available online on each subject. Information on the web is doubling every 2 years. About 90% of this information is ephemeral in nature. How to select 10% of best content is the job of library professionals, as students and researchers can't do this job on their own. Library professionals need to be highly trained, motivated to undertake this job. There is a need for providing personalized services to every type of student, teacher, and service. The library professionals should be knowing exactly what are the needs of the users. They should make surveys, whether they are in the public libraries or they are in the academic libraries. So there's a need to provide personalized service. It is like a doctor providing services to a patient. So therefore, we have, as library professionals, an important job to do. There's also a greater need to bridge the digital divide that exists today between the resources available in libraries in the Northeast and in libraries in other parts of the country. Delnet is in a position to bridge this gap to a greater extent through millions of information resources if the donor ministry and state governments so desire. We can also make information resources available in the libraries in the Northeast, available in other, and bring information available in other parts of the country to the libraries in the Northeast. This digital divide needs to be bridged, and we all have to work for it. There's a need for excellent manpower, smart librarians, and we have to really train them. Library schools in the country will have to really be geared up to really bring in new type of professionals who will man the libraries, who will man knowledge, who will be knowledge experts, who will be ICT experts, and who will know how to really pass on the correct information to our users. New technologies for libraries are emerging now and then. Technology apps are appearing, that locate books on shelves and navigate through libraries or direct readers' attention to new arrivals. Book delivery drones have begun to emerge on the scene to reach out to the public. Digital interfaces for print books are now available. E-book readers can search the content of books, find references on the web, get quick translations done. Such technologies are expensive at this stage, and we offer alternate solutions to libraries in the Indian environment until these technologies become cost-effective. University libraries could begin packaging information resources on a regular basis for each student and teacher. This packaging of information is very important, and it will improve the status of education in the country. Archiving of such selected digital content in libraries will have to become a special feature in special and university libraries. DELNET is willing to work with libraries on such issues. We have to attract users to the libraries, and we have to all work towards that, because we are finding all over the world the footfalls of users are declining, and there has to be attraction, there has to be service provided to the users in the libraries. We have devoted this NACLIN to smart libraries and inspired librarians, digital technologies, digital content and services. The advantages associated with smart libraries, including having access to the shareable catalogs of resources, the reservation of items from across all libraries for free delivery, return library items at any participating library, free internet access, availability of reference help, browsing of collections, free SMS text or email notes, etc. are being done by smart libraries at 50 institutions in the world. DELNET offers many of these services to librarians in a network mode, and there's a need to work towards providing and improving these services, in which the state governments in the Northeast could really play a great role. We hope that this national convention will pave the way for DELNET to offer services to libraries in the Northeast. It would also greatly help in promoting knowledge sharing among the libraries and their users. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I take immense pleasure in requesting now the Honorable Governor of Assam and the Chancellor, Tezpur University, Shri Banwarilal Purohit, to kindly deliver his presidential address. Honorable Shri Purohit is an eminent personality from Vidarbha who has served as a Minister of State for Urban Development, Slum Improvement and Housing. He was also elected to the Parliament twice in 1984 and 1986. He is a well-known social worker. His services in the field of social welfare, promotion of women's education, Indian culture, sports, religion and spirituality are noteworthy. He is a managing editor and the mentor of the English reading daily, the Hitvada from Nagpur, which was launched by Gopal Krishna Gokhleji in 1911. Besides being the chairman of Nagpur unit of Bharati Vidya Bhavan, he has the honor of being appointed as a national trustee of Bharati Vidya Bhavan chain of schools, having more than 100 colleges and branches in India and abroad. He is a guiding force behind Sri Ramdev Baba College of Engineering and Management in Nagpur, and under his leadership, it is registering progress in different domains of academics, research, and co-curricular activities. May I have the pleasure of requesting you, sir, to kindly deliver your presidential address.
भारत के महामहिम उपराष्ट्रपति माननीय हमीद अंसारी जी, मंच पर उपस्थित आसाम राज्य के मंत्री माननीय रंजीत दत्ता जी, यहाँ के लोकप्रिय सांसद राम प्रसाद शर्मा जी, माननीय प्रोफेसर चौधरी जी, डॉक्टर कोल जी, डॉक्टर संगीता कोल, उपस्थित सभी गणमान्य आमंत्रित मेहमान, भाइयों बहनों और छात्र वृंद, सर्वप्रथम शानदार एक क्रांतिकारी कदम की तरफ पैर बढ़ाया है, उसके लिए मैं चौधरी साहब को और कोल साहब को, इन दोनों को बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन करता हूँ, बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ। आज की आवश्यकता है। बहुत तेजी के साथ में टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से परिवर्तन होते हुए हमने देखा है। 6 दशकों का तो मैं स्वयं साक्षीदार हूं। बच्चे सामने बैठे हैं, मुझे याद आया मैं 1956 में कॉलेज में पढ़ता था। उस समय टीवी नहीं थे, इंटरनेट का तो सवाल ही नहीं, कंप्यूटर भी नहीं थे, फैक्स तक नहीं थे, मोबाइल का तो बात ही नहीं। There was nothing। राजीव जी गांधी का मैंने कांटेक्ट करने का कोशिश किया, लाइटनिंग कार्ड नहीं मिलते थे, फिर आर्मी के थ्रू, एयरफोर्स के थ्रू कांटेक्ट करने को 24 घंटे लगे मुझे। बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था वो एक जमाना। सेकंड ईयर में वैसे मैं बहुत अच्छा स्टूडेंट नहीं था, पर सेकंड ईयर में जरा मार्क्स वगैरह ठीक ठाक आए। ठीक ठाक कितने? अभी तो 95, 90 के प्लस आया तो भी बोलते हैं तू टॉपर क्यों नहीं आया। 99 की बात होती है आजकल ये जमाना। और उस जमाने में मुझे मिले थे 68 और मैथ्स में डिस्टिंक्शन। तो मेरे को मेरे फैमिली में पेड़े बांटे गए थे वो एक जमाना। और मेरे को उस समय गिफ्ट मिला, ट्रांजिस्टर पहली बार आया था इंडिया में। आई टेल यू, यदि मेरे साथ की उम्र के होंगे उनको याद होगा, ट्रांजिस्टर पहली बार आया था। मेरे को एक फिलिप्स का इम्पोर्टेड ट्रांजिस्टर 350 रुपये में खरीद के मेरे फादर ने प्रेजेंट किया। मैं क्या कहूँ। उसके बाद में आई वॉज द डार्लिंग ऑफ द कॉलेज। तो कोई भी पिकनिक होती थी तो ट्रांजिस्टर किसी के पास नहीं था, खाली मेरे पास होता था। तो कहीं भी पिकनिक में फ्री में मैं इन्वाइट होता था। तो प्यारे गाने आते थे, उसमें कोई एंटरटेनमेंट का साधन नहीं था ना, खाली रेडियो। बिना का गीत माला अमीन सयानी की, वो हमको याद है, बस वो ही हम देखते थे कौन से पादान पे कौन से गाने आए। और गाने भी बड़े मजेदार थे। उस समय सुरैया का हवा में उड़ता जाए मेरा लाल दुपट्टा मन झूम जाते थे। क्या गाना था हम लोगों के लिए, मेरा पिया गया रंगून वहां से किया है कल। देयर वाज नो एंटरटेनमेंट, खाली वो रेडियो अमीन सयानी, कुछ नहीं था। I tell you, I started newspaper, restarted in the year 1978, और उस समय मोनो और लाइनों में चलता था। माई प्रॉब्लम वाज, मोनो पे टाइप होता था, मतलब मेटल मेल्ट होके, कॉपर को मेल्ट होके उस पर टाइप करते थे, फिर उनको जमाते थे, फिर पेज तैयार होता। Somebody told me that time कि आप ऐसा करो, एक दूसरे पेपर ने साउथ में 3 एडिशन शुरू कर दिए हैं, Why can't you start? मैंने कहा मैं जाता हूँ। मैं गया। When I came to know they are money people, स्पेशल एयरप्लेन हायर करते हैं, रात को प्लेट बना के दोनों जगह डिलीवर करते हैं। मैंने कहा एक कांटा पड़ गया, हमने किया। और अब जमाना क्या बदला है। अब मेरे पेपर के 4 एडिशन है, 5वें एडिशन की तैयारी हो रही है। इंटरनेट पे एटलीस्ट 20 पेजेस ट्रांसफर विद इन नो टाइम। मॉर्निंग वॉक करके आता हूँ, मॉर्निंग वॉक करके घर में आता हूँ, मैं चाय पीता हूँ। अमेरिका में मेरा ब्रदर है, ई न्यूज़पेपर, वहां पर रात का टाइम होता है, डिनर के ऊपर मेरी फैमिली पेपर पढ़ लेती है। बाय द टाइम 7 I come, my nephew phones me, बाबा वी हैव सीन योर फोटो टुडे इन द पेपर। बताओ, मैं अभी पेपर देखने का ही हूँ और अमेरिकन न्यू ऑरलियंस में पेपर देख लिया। टेक्नोलॉजी का कमाल है। तो लाइब्रेरी में तो बहुत कुछ काम है। मेरे को याद है लाइब्रेरी बहुत तकलीफ की चीज थी, और मैं आ गया, और हम भी उसमें गिल्टी हैं। अब किताब मिलती नहीं, एक आधी किताब मिली, अब कौन उसको, उस समय ये फैक्स वैक्स कुछ नहीं थे, और न ये कॉपी भी नहीं थी,
हाथ से लिखते थे उस जमाने में, तो क्या किया जाए? शॉर्टकट, जो स्टूडेंट का परीक्षा सिर्फ पे लाइब्रेरी की किताब लाइब्रेरियन बोल रहा है कि वापस करो, खत्म हो गया, यू आर ऑलरेडी लेट बाय 3 days, ये तो पैसे देने पड़ेंगे, उसमें से 2 पेज धीरे से गायब। लाइब्रेरियन को साल भर बाद में मालूम पड़ता, ये हाल थे। और कम से कम और साहब आपने बहुत बढ़िया काम किया, आपका बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन। और ये बहुत ही जरूरी है, आवश्यकता है नॉलेज कराना। और सबसे ज्यादा जो आपका फायदा मिलेगा, मैं दावे के साथ कहता हूँ, रिसर्च वालों को। दे आर हंग्री फॉर द नॉलेज, दे आर हंग्री फॉर द नॉलेज। किताबें मिलती नहीं है, रेफरेंस नहीं मिलते हैं, कौन सी किताबें लेना, क्या न्यूज। उस दिशा में आपने जो काम किया है, आई हैव माई स्मॉल इंस्टीट्यूट देयर, तो वहाँ स्ट्रेंथ अच्छी है। आई सजेस्टेड देम वेदर दे हैव कॉन्टेक्टेड यू और नॉट, आई डोंट रिमेंबर। तो अब राज्यपाल आ गया यहाँ का, परंतु आई थिंक योर एवरी इंस्टीट्यूशन विल ग्रैब योर दिस स्कीम व्हाट एवर यू आर नॉट टू डू। और एक तो क्रांतिकारी कदम है, आज तो कार्यक्रम को गरिमा आ गई। वहाँ मैं उपराष्ट्रपति जी के हाथों से आपने करवा दिया है, इससे पूरा इंडिया में फैल जाएगा, इसकी गरिमा एक अलग है, गरिमा में कार्यक्रम। और अपने महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी बहुत विद्वान हैं। अभी हाल ही में किताब रिलीज हुई, पूरी स्पीचेज की, इनकी स्पीचेज की, उसमें राष्ट्रपति जी थे, प्रधानमंत्री जी थे, हु ऑफ द कंट्री, एवरीबॉडी वाज प्रेजेंट। मैंने तो टीवी पर देखा, मेरे को इन्विटेशन नहीं भेजा, आज नॉट गवर्नर दैट टाइम। अब आगे से एक्सपेक्ट करता हूँ राज्यसभा का भी कोई फंक्शन हो या उपराष्ट्रपति होना, आई एम क्लेमिंग दैट आई मस्ट गेट द इन्विटेशन। बहुत विद्वान है। एक बात बच्चों को कहूँगा, राष्ट्र को बदलना जरूरी, एकदम नियम, संयम और चरित्र। एजुकेशन के साथ में चरित्र बहुत जरूरी है। पुराना किस्सा है, परंतु खलीफा थे बगदाद के। खलीफा ने एक फैमिली को इनवाइट किया था खाने के लिए, अपने फ्रेंड सर्कल डिनर पे। वो गए, शायद 5 मिनट पहले पहुंच गए होंगे, 10 मिनट पहले। तो ही वाज डूइंग हिज ऑफिशियल वर्क, बैठे थे, 2-4 लोग थे, उनका काम कर रहे थे। उस जमाने में लाइट वाइट तो थी नहीं, मोमबत्ती से काम चल रहा है। 15-20 मिनट के बाद में जाने के बाद में उन्होंने अपने फ्रेंड से बोला, प्लीज यू कैन कम, अब बैठेंगे कब से। बट व्हाट ही डिड, मोमबत्ती बुझा दी, एक दूसरी मोमबत्ती लगा। उन्होंने गेस्ट ने पूछा, ये आपने क्यों किया? मोमबत्ती तो पूरी थी ना, दैट वाज अ फुल साइज, उसको हटाने की जरूरत नहीं, दूसरी मोमबत्ती आपको लगाने की क्या जरूरत पड़ी? खलीफा ने कहा कि अब तक मैं सरकारी काम कर रहा था, ये सरकारी मोमबत्ती चल रही थी, अब मेरा पर्सनल है, इसलिए मेरी पर्सनल मोमबत्ती चल रही थी, और सरकारी मोमबत्ती। अरे चलिए, देयर शुड बी अ रोल मॉडल इन द लाइफ, आगे बढ़ना है। पर हमारे सामने है ना रोल मॉडल के रूप में, अभी गए हमारे बीच में से अब्दुल कलाम, उनके मुकाबले कोई नहीं, ये रोल मॉडल। मैं कहता हूँ ये दूसरे खलीफा थे, राष्ट्रपति बने, 2 सूटकेस लेके गए, एक में किताबें, एक में कपड़ा, पूरा टर्म कंप्लीट किया, वापस आए, वही 2 सूटकेस, नथिंग एल्स। और ये तो खलीफा, दूसरे खलीफा, मॉडर्न खलीफा फॉलो करिए, रोल मॉडल बनाइए। ज्ञान के भंडार थे, आप भी बन सकते हैं। और साहब एक बात और, जाते जाते मेरी स्पीच खत्म कर रहा हूँ। आपको एक बात कहूँगा कि आसाम की धरती बहुत प्यारी है। मैं तो महाराष्ट्र से आया हूँ, श्रीमंत शंकर देव का संस्कारों का पूरा असर है यहाँ पर पूरे आसाम के अंदर। मैं जहाँ जहाँ जा रहा हूँ, पत्रों में हो, नामगढ़ में हो, कुछ भी हो, एक डिजिटल लाइब्रेरी उनको समर्पित करके आप बनाओ। ये मेरी तहे दिल से आप बहुत बड़ा काम आप करोगे, पूरे मैसेज जो है इसके, पूरे मैसेज पूरे हिंदुस्तान में जाए, सही में हिंदुस्तान में जाने लायक मैसेज। सरकरदेव को मैंने पढ़ा है, उनका इतना लिटरेचर है, इतने वाद्य हैं, सत्र हैं, नाम घर हैं, और उनके म्यूजिक, ड्रामा, क्या क्या नहीं है, एक खजाना है यहाँ पर, उसको आप लोगों तक पहुँचाओ। ये अपील आपसे करते हुए मेरे शब्दों में विराम देता हूँ। चौधरी साहब और कौल साहब ने मुझे इनवाइट किया एक बहुत ही गरिमामय प्रोग्राम में, मैं अपने को भाग्यवान समझता हूँ और आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
Thank you very much, sir, indeed, for your very enlightening address. We would now like to request most humbly the Honorable Chief Guest, Shri M. Hamid Ansari Ji, to kindly inaugurate electronically the newly constructed academic building for humanities and social sciences of Tezpur University. The Humanities and Social Sciences Complex, constructed by the Tezpur University with the funding from University Grants Commission, comprises 8 buildings with uncovered interconnectivity. These 8 buildings will accommodate all departments under the School of Humanities and Social Science except Mass Communication and Journalism. It has common facilities including 1 cafeteria, 7 multipurpose halls and 1 conference hall. May I request you, sir, if you may kindly, yeah, please kindly. Also, we would like to request our Honorable Chief Guest to kindly inaugurate the NACLIN 2016 exhibitions. Thank you indeed, sir. On the occasion of 19th Convention on Knowledge Library and Information Networking, the pre-conference publications containing 23 keynote papers to be presented at the conference and a souvenir is being published. May I have the pleasure of requesting once again our Honorable Chief Guest to kindly release the NACLIN 2016 publications. I request Dr. H.K. Kaul to kindly present the publications to the Honorable Chief Guest and also to the other dignitaries. The Vice President of India, Honorable Shri Hamid Ansari Ji's contributions are outstanding and enormous. It is a moment of great pride and honor for me to present a brief overview of the Honorable Chief Guest, who is a renowned Indian diplomat, thinker, academician and writer who has been serving as an Honorable Vice President of India since 2007. He was bestowed with Padma Shri in 1984 in recognition of his outstanding services to the nation. In 1961, Honorable Chief Guest joined the Indian Foreign Services and served in Indian missions in Baghdad, Rabat, Jeddah and Brussels. He was also the ambassador to the UAE and as well as to High Commissioner to Australia, ambassador to Afghanistan, ambassador to Iran. Honorable Shri Ansari Ji also served as a permanent representative to the United Nations, New York from 1993 to 1995. He has been the ambassador to Saudi Arabia. The Honorable Chief Guest was also the visiting professor at the Center for West Asian and African Studies at Jawaharlal Nehru University. He also made immense contributions as the Vice Chancellor of the Aligarh Muslim University. The Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Hamid Ansari Ji, is a prolific writer who has authored a number of books, including his latest titles on citizen and society, as well as traveling through conflict, essays on the politics of West Asia, and many more titles. May I have the profound privilege of requesting our Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Shri Hamid Ansari Ji, to kindly deliver the inaugural address.
Honorable Governor of Assam, Banwari Lal Purohit Ji, Honorable Irrigation Minister, Government of Assam, Ranjit Datta Ji, Honorable Member of Parliament, Ram Prasad Sharma Ji, Vice Chancellor, Professor Chaudhary, my old friend Dr. Kaul, Director of Delnet, distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen. This is a university in idyllic surroundings, in a land which can only be described as supremely idyllic. And I am therefore happy to be here for the inauguration of the 19th National Convention on Knowledge, Library and Information Network, organized jointly by the Tezpur University and the Developing Library Network, New Delhi. Allow me to begin with a confession. I am a bookworm and feel totally at home with books and matters relating to them. I can also testify to the efficacy of Delnet, a path-breaking effort made in 1988 at the India International Central Library in New Delhi. It is now supported by the National Informatics Center of our Ministry of Communication and the Information and Technology, and also by the Ministry of Culture. Delnet was established with the primary objective of promoting resource sharing amongst the libraries through development of a network of libraries. Its aim to collect, store and disseminate information besides offering computerized services to users. It has become an invaluable tool in promoting quicker access to information. The theme of this conference, Smart Libraries and Inspired Librarians, Managing New Technologies, Digital Content and Services. It visualizes the future of libraries and the role of librarians. This audience knows well that with the advent of the internet, the library is no longer a physical place, but has been transformed into a placeless resource. Despite this paradigm shift, it remains true that libraries continue to play a central role in providing open and free access to information and ideas. The exact nature of this role is subject of a debate. Libraries now have to address a set of three basic questions. One, to what extent and in what ways are they likely to change? Two, what would be the new role of librarians in the changing information environment? And three, what aspects of the traditional library will prove the most resistant or impervious to change? The explosion of information now being produced in digital form has dramatically changed expectations about the production as well as the use of knowledge. The internet not only accelerates the pace of knowledge dissemination, but also gives rise to changing conceptions of knowledge production and use. The open information culture as exemplified by Wikipedia, I beg your pardon. There might be leaks in it too. Attests to a dramatically altered conception of knowledge as something produced not solely by experts, but through a convergence of many who bring knowledge or experience, even though imperfect, to bear on a subject. Knowledge has been transformed from objective and certain to subjective and personal. The advent of high-speed mobile internet has facilitated network information and altered the learning venues and expectations. Social networks and social media have become more important in people's learning strategies. The evolution that continues to occur, changing paradigms of knowledge production, expanding sources and modes of dissemination, faster and broader accessibility to a growing range of information, also has the ring of opportunity. Libraries must transform and avail these opportunities to remain vital sources of knowledge dissemination in the years ahead. These, according to one assessment, would imply, firstly, evolution of libraries from places perceived primarily as the domain of the book to institutions that users perceive as providing pathways to high quality information on a variety of media. Secondly, need for libraries to work together in a new and collective way. This would imply greater connectivity and sharing of resources. Thirdly, a change in the culture of libraries and librarians from being ownership and control to one that seeks to provide service and guidance in more useful ways, helping users find and use information that may be available through a range of providers, including libraries themselves, in physical or digital form. And fourthly, libraries must assert their evolving roles in more active ways, both in the context of their institutions and in the increasingly competitive markets for information dissemination and retrieval. Friends, we are living in the information age. This implies that the main sector of economic productivity is changing from agriculture and manufacturing to creation and processing of information and knowledge. New business infrastructures, healthcare, academic research, economic development, and social interaction have sprung from the arrival of networks, data storage, new innovative software, and microprocessors, providing for direct access to information, eliminating the intermediaries, and gaining on space and time. In this context, the libraries have the obligation to act as equalizers by providing equitable and affordable access to knowledge and information to large number of society. They can allow a larger proportion of the society to participate in the knowledge-driven growth. Libraries of the 21st century can thus help fight poverty and narrow the gap between the rich and poor. For the first time in history, perhaps, the poor have an opportunity to enhance their wealth through the creation and use of knowledge. And libraries can play a central role in this movement. At the same time, it is relevant to remind ourselves that technology in the service of humankind has its limits. An interesting note of caution was sounded recently by the astrophysicist Stephen Hawking, who said our digital future may be dystopian with the growth of artificial intelligence threatening the very human existence. Similarly, the technologist Elon Musk, even as he advocates a human colony on the planet Mars, has said that the advancement of artificial intelligence can create a situation where humans become house pets of the machines, and warned that such power should be broadly distributed, not to be concentrated in the hands of a few. In this scheme of things, one should not forget the role of libraries. This was summed up by the UNESCO in 1994 and remains valid today, and I quote, "Freedom, prosperity, and the development of society and individuals are fundamental human values. They will only be attained through the ability of well-informed citizens to exercise their democratic rights and to play an active role in society. Constructive participation and the development of democracy depends on satisfactory education as well as on free and unlimited access to knowledge, thought, culture, and information. The public library, the local gateway to knowledge, provides a basic condition for lifelong learning, independent decision-making, and culture development of the individual and social groups." End of quote. I think this last passage is well worth pondering seriously and frequently, because finally we live in a big world, but we also live in local communities, and therefore the importance of promoting libraries and new forms of libraries is critically important. I thank you for inviting me, and I wish you successful deliberations. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for your highly enriching and thought-provoking address and for delivering the inaugural address. On behalf of the organizers of NACLIN 2016, Mrs. Delnet Developing Library Network New Delhi and Tezpur University Tezpur, I stand before you with a great sense of humility to present the vote of thanks. We express our sincere gratitude and thanks to the Honorable Chief Guest for taking out time out of his busy schedule to grace the occasion. We will never be able to thank you enough, sir, for your very highly encouraging presence and kind gesture to come all the way from Delhi for gracing and being here with us at the 19th National Convention on Knowledge, Library and Information Networking. Your presence here today has been truly encouraging to the entire fraternity of the library and information science professionals. I would like to request Dr. H.K. Kaul to kindly present a memento to the Honorable Chief Guest. All of you join your hands together and give a very, very big applause to our Honorable Chief Guest for his very kind presence here with us today. We are also grateful to the Honorable Governor of Assam, Shri Banwarilal Purohit, for chairing the inaugural function. I request Professor Mihir Kanti Chaudhary to kindly present a memento on behalf of the organizers to the Honorable Governor. We are also much thankful to Mr. Ranjit Datta for gracing the occasion. May I have the pleasure of requesting Dr. H.K. Kaul to kindly present a memento to Mr. Ranjit Datta. We would also like to present a memento to Mr. Ram Prasad Sarma Ji for joining us at the inaugural function. May I once again have a pleasure of requesting Professor Mihir Kanti Chaudhary ji to kindly present a memento to Sri Ram Prasad Sarma ji. We are grateful to Professor Mihir Kanti Chaudhary ji, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Tezpur University, Dr. Biren Das, Registrar, Dr. Mukesh Saikia, the Organizing Secretary, Dr. Munawar Iqbal, the Coordinator, the various officials and the staff of the university, and also the Delnet officials who have been of great support and help in organizing the event. We are also much thankful to our student volunteers of the university for their very, very kind cooperation and support. We are thankful to each one of you for your presence here with us today, which has truly been admired and appreciated by us. I would now like to request all of you to kindly stand for the national anthem.
भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गावे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल नायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
श्रीमान सम्मानगढ़ आपका निरीक्षण के लिए हाजिर है। सम्मानगढ़ सर
हाँ कल हम किसी ने बताया कि अभी प्रोग्राम हो गए हाँ
Paper for publication. I'm starting my presentation with an assumption that your paper is ready for publication, and you also know about what is a subscription-based journal. Like you must have published already about in a subscription-based journal. In my session, I'm going to talk about what is open access publishing. It's a new and evolving system of publication, which is fast, which is quicker, and which is affordable. So, in my presentation, I'll walk you through about what is open access publishing, why you should publish in an open access journal, expand, how an open access publishing helps you in furthering your research, and what kind of impact an open access publishing is creating in the scholarly communication space, and what is Taylor and Francis doing in the open access publishing. So the first question is, what is open access? Do anyone know? Open access publishing is making your research free of access, free of any copyright restrictions. It's free for all. As long as you have an internet connection, you can use, retweet, rework, develop the research which has already been worked upon. You can further it without any restriction. So open access is symbolized by an unlock key, and there is no restriction on the usage of already published research. So there are two kinds of open access publishing. One is gold open access, and the other one is green open access. Gold open access is a system wherein the final version of record can be put in the public domain for the third party to use. And green open access is a system wherein author-accepted manuscript can be archived, shared amongst the like-minded people. So I talked about version of record, author manuscript. Put this into a context. Let me explain you. In a lifetime of a journal article, it goes through several stages. However, there are three important milestones an article sees. That's author's original manuscript, AOM. Author's original manuscript is the final article that author has read, and he thinks that it is ready for submission into a journal. And then comes the green open access, wherein the peer-reviewed article, which is accepted by a journal, considering it for publication, can be archived. That's called the green open access. And then comes the gold open access, wherein a content which has been accepted for publication, the publisher has run through the workshop process of copy editing it, allotting a DOI, that's digital objective identifier, ensure it's discoverable in the internet world. So that forms the gold open access. Mind you that gold open access can involve payment of article processing charges in some scenarios. So this is the accepted manuscript, which is part of green open access. The accepted manuscript can go embargoes in place, like the publisher might instruct the authors before putting it into an open access read. They might say that, look, it can go into your institutional repository after maybe like 12 months or 18 months of publication. So this is the goal of open access, the version of record. Version of record is something which the publisher has carried out the complete work on the manuscript. There is they have done the cross-referencing of your the citations. The images have been stabilized, and the article has been made fully discoverable in the internet world, and it can be connected to the like-minded people through various social media platforms. So now the question is why one should consider open access publishing as against the conventional putting behind the subscription wall. So let me begin with the case study. This case study is from one of our authors who has written a blog about why he chose to publish his article in an open access journal instead of putting it behind the subscription wall. This is what the author has to say. Open access form of publication is totally inclusive. I like the idea that it might be people in sub-Saharan African countries getting access to the research which is happening in another part of the world. The people in the developing economies are not all the institutes subscribe to the research content. However, open access is a free, liberal form of publishing where the communication about research is faster and there is no restrictions around the use of the content, and it can be furthered by the citation of the research. There are 4 reasons that I can think of why an author should think of publishing in an open access journal. It increases the discoverability of your research because there are more number of people who get access to your content, and it helps you in getting linked beyond your academia. When I say academia, so it helps the author in highlighting his work and reach out to the maximum users by way of it allows the author to link it to his social media platform, link it to his various research portals that are upcoming like Kudos or LinkedIn and other places. And one of the major things about open access publishing is ownership of the content resides with the authors, not with the publisher. So which is a massive thing. And you are hearing largely about predatory journals, right? So the predatory journals, I'm sure you're aware of predatory journals. So can anyone tell me what is a predatory journal?
People doing things in the name of open access.
A popular journal, and the predatory journal publisher takes the money to get his paper published. However, eventually you realize that you have been cheated of. However, in an open access publishing domain, there is a guiding principle which is developed by the Creative Commons groups, which lays down the guidelines and policies of usage and how the author wishes to restrict the usage of his research and the citation. So there are 6 Creative Commons licenses which are prevalent now. The first one is CC BY, that's the most liberal form of licensing, where the researchers can distribute, remix, tweak, and build upon your work by ensuring that the proper citation and the attributes to the authors are given. And the next form is CC BY NC. It means the authors can again retweet, remix, build upon your work, as long as it is not for commercial usage. However, attribution will just do good. Non-commercial usages are allowed. The third form is CCBY NCND. Attribution, non-commercial, no derivatives. Up here, the authors are not allowed to make use of the research for any commercial gains, and the final version of record can be used as it is without rebuilding on it, without any attribution to the authors, the original authors. So the other forms of licensing are CCBY SA. Under this system, the content can be shared across all the disciplines as long as including the commercial purpose. And the other form is CCBY-ND. So up here, this license allows for distribution for commercial and non-commercial as long as the content is unchanged as a whole. And the authors are credited and attributed at the right places. And the last form is CCBY, non-commercial, share alike, wherein the content cannot be used for any commercial gains. So what's happening in the open access space? As a researchers, you must have been hearing a lot about open access publishing, right? So here's a chart wherein it shows you an idea about what's happening in the open access publishing. Who's dominating the open access publishing? If you see China's record, China is just piling up. Like the massive contribution in the open access space is coming from China, followed by US. And if you look at India, India has been stable since 2012 with sub 5% contribution in the open access space. And we are not really far behind, because if you look at the Indian statistics alone, of the little over 43,000 articles that were published year to date, that's January to August, about 16% of the articles have been published in the open access domain. We have a national open access policy which has been ratified by various departments like CSIR, DST, DBT, and your Council of Agriculture Research. And if you analyze the subject area in which the open access is prevalent, it is largely focusing in the areas of science, technology, and medicine, and there is very little representation from the social sciences space. And here's the data of what the open access contribution been. The researchers from CSIR have been publishing the maximum articles in the open access space, of the open access articles that have been published so far, followed by the IITs and the medical sciences institutes. Here's a data that we have analyzed.